Pakistani time, I've heard of African time, but when you put them two together, is that how you end up 45 minutes late for a podcast?
That's pretty normal though.
Yeah,
that's pretty normal.
Pretty standard protocol.
Yeah, because for a typical Paki or African, when they tell you they'll be there in 1 hour, expect them to be there at 3 hours.
3 hours later.
So if anything, you're at fault for expecting us on time.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know, you gotta reverse this stuff. You gotta flip it. I remember your brother's wedding.
Yeah.
I think dinner on the thing said 8 o'clock, and at 10 p.m. they started thinking about what they were gonna cook.
Yeah.
You know, it was something along those lines.
Yeah. It was pretty late. But it turned out to be good though, because whatever that's late, for most of the time,
that's his
turns
excuse.
Out to be good.
That's his excuse.
Yeah.
I believe so. I might be wrong on that, but I believe so.
No, I mean, there is, obviously you got to be on time for things, but not in our culture for sure.
No, man, nobody cares about time, which is proven today in a big way. So I'm going to ask you guys got together in university, right?
Yep. So
this guy and you completely different when you're growing up. Like, people need to know.
Yeah.
You grew up in Mississauga.
Yep.
Right? Just like any other sort of traditional Canadian, growing up, going to school, doing whatever.
Yep.
This guy literally grew up in a bush.
Yep.
Right?
Be nice about it. Just say jungle.
Well, the bush was in the jungle,
be
right?
Be nice. Be a bit more professional.
It was a bush in a jungle, but you had your own bush.
Yep.
Right? Tell us about that, man.
I don't know where to start. I say it was a typical childhood, but in a different setting. It wasn't a city setting. It was just more like a rural type of setting with a lot of trees around and a lot of nature.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did you have a washroom?
No. First time I had washroom was, I don't even know, was it 25? I was 25 years old, I believe.
First time you saw a washroom was when you were 25 years old?
25 years old.
I mean, you had washroom.
We had washroom. We could, help yourself, under the trees.
It was a natural washroom.
So you had a way to relieve yourself.
No, we had ways of helping the nature, what do you call? Providing a natural manure for the nature.
Yeah, that's what he means. Compost.
Oh, so it was like reliving, like you were kind of contributing back.
Yeah.
So that's funny because in the last episode, we actually talked about how right now, the cities where we live, we take from outside, we use it and we spit it back out as garbage.
Yep.
But you replenished where you lived.
And I believe that's a better approach than what we're doing currently.
Yeah.
Because at times with these like toiletry plastics that we use, it's not good for the nature, right? Why don't you just release whatever you have so that those trees and those plants can, grow healthy and stronger?
So you don't believe in the modern day washroom is what you're trying to say?
No, I believe the idea behind it for sanitation wise.
Yeah.
But I also believe that human waste can play a big role in helping.
Because you lived it, you saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. First
you
time.
saw it was all self-sustained, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you met this guy, had he seen a toilet yet?
Yeah, I didn't introduce him.
He was already potty trained.
He was potty trained by then.
Okay, so how old was he at that time?
I was fortunate enough to not potty train him. The problem is we don't know his actual age because he was born in the jungle. So whenever you ask him how old was he, they're all estimates.
No kidding. So like bone density scans.
Yeah, bone density, all that. We don't know his age. Like to this day, we don't have his age.
That's crazy.
You know how you count the rings on a tree?
Yeah.
That's how we estimate.
So where do you count his rings? I'd like to know.
You count his teeth or something. I don't know. I met him in, believe it or not, so I met him in second year. Was it second year?
Roughly,
But we weren't that tight. So
I had my own crew. He had his own crew, but
the reason was because he was always someone. So in university, when you see someone who's always happy, especially during exams and stuff, when people are stressing, you think that this person doesn't care or he's really smart. But regardless, you don't see him stressed. So I always assumed he was some international student. That's how I assumed it, because I'm like, maybe he has
like
money.
living off his parents' money, or
those kids with the Lamborghinis. That's
just doesn't give a damn. That's what I kind of felt like.
Doesn't give a damn, because I would be stressing about a test, and he would be the one making jokes.
Yes.
Like coming in, laughing, Bollywood, all that stuff. So when it was actually probably when I first met him, he made up some story. I grew up in a camp in Pakistan, which was so not true, and all that stuff.
And the camp story
but it's believable. Like if you meet him, it's like Captain Pakistan. Right?
He gave me details about Pakistan that I don't know.
Yeah, because this guy literally can sing Bollywood music.
Yes, sing Bollywood, everything.
I've seen his videos on Instagram. Like people are following. Pakistani people are following this guy from a bush that was in a jungle. Yeah. Right. Because of his Bollywood music.
Yeah,
let's be frank. Pakistan has a lot more trees than many countries currently, because the current premier is also planting a lot of trees.
Yeah, that's true.
So nature is a big thing.
He's bringing it back, man. He's bringing it back.
But get back to your story.
So I just thought, like, I would see him. He wasn't in my classes. I did business. What did you do?
Econ.
Wasn't it women in gender studies?
Well, that's my
That's
PhD.
what we tell
That's
people.
my PhD.
That's his PhD.
His PhD.
Yeah. But he did economics and political science. So we would just see each other around uni, but we weren't really tight, you know?
So then what happened?
And then fast forward 2017.
Yeah, 2017 after uni, I saw him on the bus. And
But you invited me to your first birthday.
yeah.
remember?
But when he actually told me his story, like, this is where I come from, I was like, I was mind blown. Because I know people who are actually like, I was friends with people who had so much money. They were loaded and they would be stressing. And I'm like, why don't, is this why you don't stress? And he told me, he's like, because it was exam season near the end of the uni, 4th year. He's like, the reason I don't stress is because whatever they're stressing about, I've already made it where I come from in the jungle.
He's seen so much more.
Exactly. He's seen much worse.
Yeah.
Like he has friends that are no longer alive because they died of malnutrition, right?
Yeah.
Malnutrition, they didn't have enough food. It's common. It's not common for me. I remember I was like, what? Like the concept of like, if you open your fridge and there's no water in there or food, it doesn't register to someone who grew up here.
So where would you actually get your water from?
You usually like normal wells, the ground wells.
Yeah.
So you would have like a village well?
Yeah. And then at times it dries up during the dry season. So it becomes a bit more difficult to even get
So what do you do?
water.
Rainwater,
that's a
you collect, I'm assuming?
Yeah, more like...
He actually didn't know the answer. So literally like he just went thirsty.
Yeah.
For most part, but like, I mean, usually you also moved with the seasons, right? Like if it rains somewhere here, and then it dries up here, then you move a long distance to another area.
Literally nomadic.
You move with the rain, you move with,
that's crazy.
With the nature, yeah.
So the last episode, the key that it all came down to was resilience. We were talking about how do you get by with food, etc. And in the intro to this, we're talking about how, you know, in that continent, right? Resilience is the key factor for who's going to make it, who's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you get out of literally that's it? You're now here in Canada with a family now there,
that's
right?
True, yeah.
You're now going to bring you over here.
Your family will be here soon, hopefully.
They'll be here soon, right? Okay. So what do you think about leaving your kid for a while so you can learn what you learned?
Oh, leaving him down there for a while? No, I think dynamics have changed. Back in the day when I was there, when I was pretty young, climate change wasn't a big deal. Trees were there, a lot of different fruits that I used to eat. Currently, if I go back there, I don't find them anymore. There's a change of things there. There's a change of nature, change of a lot of things, right? So the environment is not the same now. It's back in the day, it used to be more of like a semi-arid, but now it's almost like desert.
It's like desert now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
So just for everyone listening, not familiar, where are we talking about? What country?
That's like Somalia.
Somalia, okay.
Yeah, so like southern Somalia bordering Kenya.
So Somalia also has big cities, but you're out in the jungle, in the bush.
Yeah. I mean, even with Somalia, I mean, like dynamic. For instance, like if you go to a big city like Mogadishu, it's a very, very big city, metropolitan, has a lot of amenities. But if you go like, let's say, I would say like even a couple miles out of the city, it's a typical, you know, it's a rural, you know, it's not fully urbanized, right?
Yeah.
And down south is even less, more urbanized and more like nomadic. And yeah, a lot for Somalis, nomadism is a big thing. So we have a lot of camels and a lot of cows and everything. Yeah. So nomadic lifestyle is a big thing, even for the educated ones or non-educated ones.
Very cool.
It's a big...
so a big part of that and resilience and how do you know, what forces you to sort of get towards your goal is that you don't really have choices, meaning that, you know, because the choice is either eat that or be hungry. It's a very easy choice, right? Where here it's like, what do I eat? I open the fridge and I have nothing to eat when there's 100 options. Right?
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. I believe here we have so much abundance of everything. Yeah. So you just don't know what to choose, right? Yeah. But when you don't have all those opportunities, you tend to think outside the box. Yeah. Yep. You know, when you don't have all those like free, like let's say when you wake up in the morning, you don't have that breakfast ready. So you have to wake up, go to the, you know, to the shed, you know, milk the cows, you know, do this, do that, get some fruits.
Life from scratch, you know, every day.
Like it kind of makes you on the move. It kind of makes you think outside the box. It kind of makes you appreciate the little that you have because you don't know when the next will be on the
next meal.
So how did this go from you coming here to like you're in school, your profession, whatever you were seeking, and then all of a sudden you guys are like Bollywood hits? What happened there?
First and foremost, we never became a Bollywood hit.
Well, you guys got together, and you started putting these videos out there, and you're getting millions of views now. And like people are like, we don't understand what's happened. This we kind of get. This is kind of we got to figure this out. And then the package is even more confusing.
Bollywood story is a pretty interesting one because I grew up in the camp as well. The camp is in Kenya. Yeah. So my early childhood from grade 7, grade 8, I was, you know, in school and everything. So I had a big exposure to Bollywood, but sort of with subtitles, with Somali subtitles. Right. So you sort of watch a movie It has a Somali subtitle. You
So you're
understand
reading
the
it, but you're
context there.
listening too.
But when it comes to the songs, they're not subtitled.
Yeah.
So you tend to hear the songs firsthand, but you don't know which language it is. You don't know which country it is. You don't have access to internet, so you don't know where these people are.
Yeah.
They
no
just sound a
kidding.
bit interesting. You know, they just sound a bit like running around in those green fields, but you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Fast forward, come to Canada, and then all of a sudden I see this fellow speaking the language. I'm like, I've heard this language in the songs, you know, like these words
Yeah.
seem a bit interesting.
Yep.
Like, seem
And
to
he
be-
looks like, one of those
Yeah.
guys. From the-
well,
Thank you. Shah Rukh Khan right here. I'll take the compliment. So we got together. So the thing is, the TikTok and everything has recently become popular, but
Yeah.
before TikTok, we were all Instagram, and it's just us having fun.
Yeah.
One of the things that I personally we like about each other when we met is we don't care. We've offended more people. We offend so many people. I think we offend more people than we make laugh.
I find you very offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
you go.
personally.
not necessarily
Yeah.
offensive. It's just being yourself. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
not trying
Yeah.
to make anyone be offended or be
We
happy.
don't do it
Yeah.
purposely.
Just be
it's
neutral in
that
your own regard, right?
We
And
don't do it purposely. It's just that people have become so
soft, to be
Yes.
frank,
Yeah.
too soft. If you say word, people get triggered for no reason.
Yeah.
Like
right?
you can have a heart-to-heart sort of relationship. You can
Yep.
tell people what it is.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to like sugarcoat it. Play
Yep.
play
Yep.
the.
So
Yeah.
Play
when
the
was the
premier
last
language.
time you have a family now that you're waiting to arrive? When was the last time you were back home?
1 month ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 month ago.
Yeah.
So what is it? So that what you're talking about
Yeah.
socially, what's happening here? Everything is a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
What is it like back there?
Well, currently, I mean, my wife is sort of on a same educational level as mine. So,
Okay.
alhamdulillah, she just finished her master's. So we tend to have these normal conversations that, she sort of appreciates where I'm coming from and where the average community is down there.
Yeah.
Because now it's a little bit more conservative type. You can't just say whatever you want. You have to be mindful of the elderlies and whatever. You have to kind of like measure your language. But she understands both of them. So on a personal level, I don't. It feels the same way I'm talking to you around her. But like when I go outside, I still have to be very very mindful, of the words I use or how I carry myself.
Yeah.
We have something. How within this culture something called izzat sort of
Respect.
shenanigans exist.
Yeah.
We have similar vibe down there as well. So it's pretty tough.
I think he's
don't
trying
cross
to.
my line.
I think he's trying to ask if people get as triggered or as quickly triggered there versus here.
No. People don't get triggered that much.
Yeah, the
Don't get triggered.
sensitivity.
Yeah,
is
the
there.
sensitivity.
Or
yeah.
I guess it's just the awareness, isn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, there is more anesthesia down there than.
Yeah. No kidding. And you're white, so you started off in the jungle.
Yeah.
Then you went to this sort of somewhat of a boarding school in
Yeah,
Kenya,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And somebody kind of sponsored that for you. Somebody
No,
brought
it
you.
wasn't. It was not somebody. It was an organization.
An organization.
Yeah, a local Canadian organization.
Okay.
So offered to sponsor, and
Yeah.
then they brought me to Canada.
But
and then-
even there,
Yeah.
there was no toilet. They're just getting back to the nitty
from
gritty.
the city. In the city. So
Because you said 25 was the first time you saw a washroom.
well, how do you define toilet? I mean, we have those. The ones that you squat. Your legs.
Oh, you're just talking about whether you sit down or
Yeah,
squat.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think he means like,
these fancy
21st.
ones with
Yeah.
heated,
Yeah.
Heated
like,
seats.
Yeah.
heated seats,
Cushions.
cushions, these fancy
iPad.
ones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, now I get it.
You
Okay.
get what I mean? The fancy ones,
Yeah.
definitely, but
Yeah.
like the seated ones, yeah, they existed.
Yeah.
They did exist. Yeah,
Do you find that now that this is your life here,
that's
right?
true. That's true.
Do you find that when you were back home, you
Yeah.
go eat the foods, you go touch the veg, that it's different?
I've lived here for some time now.
I
I'm
think you use
sort
the
of-
quality of the foods.
Even the flavors that like going back home, meaning that what's happened here in
Yeah.
terms of the industrialization
True.
of
Yeah.
food, sorry,
True.
versus how is it still
No.
the way it used to be? No.
And I understood you now. To be frank, when I'm here, like let's say eating food, I have some doubts sometimes because
Yeah.
I don't know what's real and what's fake.
Could be
Right.
a rat.
Yeah.
As chicken.
Not necessarily that. What I mean is like a lot of GMO products are there, a lot
Right.
of
That too, yeah.
chemicals added into the products, so you can't even tell what's legit, what's not legit. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But down there, whatever you get, this is real. When they tell you it's a chicken,
Yeah.
it's a chicken that was grass fed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here it could be like a chicken
Factory
fed,
farms, yeah.
what do you call like a
Yeah.
grounded plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's right. Because over here, they have factory farming, right? And I'm not sure if you've seen, but I was recently watching a video where they have microplastics in the grains of these chickens. So even when you're trying to eat healthy and everything,
It's difficult to.
because what they do is the wastage from Walmart and stuff.
Yeah.
They crush it up.
Yeah.
Before, what they used to do, they used to take out like bread. They used to take it out of the plastic, crush it up, and feed the grain to the chickens. But now they don't even do that. They just take the
Put the
entire
plastic right in.
plastic in. So you got microplastic in the food that goes in the chicken that comes to you.
Right.
So definitely, health is a big thing. No, like health within the food, as in like the safety and everything, and the contents within those foods as well, right? Like, I mean, back in the day before the industrialization, our great grandparents used to have. I can say a longer life expectancy because they had less sort of
Less disease.
less diseases, right?
Yeah. So people they get old, they get frail, but they wouldn't be in disease for the last 15
you get
years.
I mean,
of their life.
all these like sedentary type of diseases that exist lately. So I think food plays a big role in that. Like whatever
sure.
you eat, whatever you are. Like if you eat garbage, that's who you are.
Yeah.
If you take care of your body and eat clean, expect the good results down the line.
This is why they say if you want an American disease, eat an American diet.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Yep.
Live like one,
There
be
you go.
like one. So that's what it is. And you see this in a lot of sort of Eastern cultures where mainly economically they haven't been able to afford the abundance, right? So things are the way they always have been.
Yeah.
People are healthy,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
right?
A lot of greens.
The main cause of death is frailty. You just get old.
Yeah. Time
Right?
comes, you have to live,
Yeah.
Okay, the space,
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. So tell us when you were in the bush,
Yeah.
in the jungle.
Yeah.
I understand
Be
there was
nice
a
about
jungle.
it. Don't say bush anymore.
Yeah.
Just be like jungle. Yeah. I think
bush.
we can do better.
Tell me about either, because I know one of these
Yeah.
three things happened. Either
Yeah.
a lion attack
Yeah.
or some giraffe stealing your food.
True.
Tell me about what happened there.
I think both of those have
I
happened.
think both things have happened.
Really?
Yeah. Lions are pretty common.
Yeah.
The typical, like wild animals, hyenas,
So
lions.
what do you do when there's like a lion as your neighbor?
There's someone on night watch.
Yeah, people on
Look.
night watch it tends to be because first and foremost we don't, there's no those fancy mattresses to sleep on.
Yeah.
Casper.
So you're probably like sleeping on the ground, like bare on the ground, right?
Right.
So like the sleep itself, it doesn't go to is it called the REM level?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. There's no deep sleep.
So like if something's small,
Yeah.
you're like on the move.
You're ready.
Survival instincts, yeah.
And also there's like, oh, can I get ready? Can I, I need 1 hour to get ready. No.
Wake up.
Yeah.
You get to move quickly. Like, you gotta admit, there's nothing to get ready first and foremost. The way you
Yeah.
sleep is the way you wake
So
up.
someone on night watch and everyone's kind of ready, half awake anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if they just
Tiger
hear
time,
something,
time to go.
Yeah.
you're on the move.
Yeah.
So animals, the typical attacks do happen. Usually, it does happen with, let's say, during the day, when you're herding the animals, in the deep in the
So they'll
forest.
come
whatever.
after the herd.
Yeah. But in a typical, let's say, in a mini settlement that people live in,
Yeah.
the animals tend to avoid because, that will be like different houses on different sides of that like settlement, right? Like let's say a mini settlement of like 10 families, one family lives here, like from a big circle,
So what do you got to do when this guy's family gets you? Got to buy him a pet tiger.
Yeah.
That's
This
the
is
ultimate.
But the thing is, a pet tiger here, tigers are going to be soft. The lions they dealt with.
Those are the real deal.
Those
are the real deal.
OG.
Those
You
are
had
the-
a situation
Yeah,
where
yeah,
someone
yeah.
was attacked, right?
Yeah, someone was attacked.
So they-
Very close family friend.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was a night. It was raining, so it was a rain, and then what happened was the lion sort of attacked from his side where the gentleman was sleeping, the young guy was sleeping, and so the lion ended up lifting him from his back. So it kind of like dipped one of those
His claws?
claws on his back
Yeah.
and
You're
like
kidding.
lifted him down like few meters and everything, and then
Threw him.
he made a cry, and then everyone just jumped in with their spears, and luckily the lion was taken care of.
So literally people came out with spears,
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
rid of the
yeah,
lion.
yeah,
yeah.
And then how do you heal him?
Usually the first line of approach is using tea leaves.
Yeah.
The tea leaves, so grounded ones. So you apply on those on
the
where the
wound?
blood is
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
So you apply that, and then you wrap them with some leaves, and then slaughter an animal for them right away.
So if we went to the Toronto Zoo and I got attacked by a lion
no,
and I was with you, you'd be able to help me.
First and foremost, I'm giving you those measures were done back
Yeah.
almost 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Things have changed. Medicine
Yeah.
have changed. But the other thing was, killing, they slaughter a small animal, and then they end up mixing blood with some soup and whatever, feed the guy,
Wow.
reclaim his-
Energy.
Yeah, it's a long story.
That's crazy, right? So it's awesome you guys are able to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the very first thing I said, it's about resilience, man. Like seeing you here,
Mhm.
you talk to you,
Mhm.
and you guys are good for. It's like none of this ever happened,
Absolutely.
right? To somebody else, this could be PTSD to the extent
Yeah.
where they're
It
dysfunctional.
It is.
Yep.
Right?
It is.
So how you deal with like what gets thrown at you can make you stronger. Or it can destroy you,
Yep.
right?
And I absolutely agree with you. In life, it's how you choose it, right? Things will definitely happen. Things will definitely happen, even if you live in a castle, even if you live, under the sea. Things will definitely would happen as a human being.
Yep.
And so it's the way you take it, right?
Yep.
If you take it positively and say, hey, this thing happened to me, but how can I go through it, and then what's the way forward for me, right?
Yeah. How can I
Or
learn
you
from
could
it?
literally
Yeah.
give up at that moment and be like, I'm done, and God forbid. And people do have those moments, right, where they just feel so down, so low,
They break
don't know
down,
the way out, they just break down, and a typical human instinct that sometimes people do, have those breakdowns, right? But I believe humans are extremely resilient. and they can overcome most of the challenges for the most part. For most human beings, you know, they can definitely overcome it. And I think that's something that has to be encouraged, and, you know, people have to be told about it, right? Because someone doesn't believe themselves until at times they need those reaffirmations, like, hey, you can do this, you know?
Yeah.
You can manage
You're
this.
the proof, man.
100%.
All right.
It is.
Thanks for coming, guys. This was awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this again sometime, but thank you, guys.
Yeah. It is an absolute pleasure to you having us.
Yeah.